This is David Prosper, host of the Leadership Revolution. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast from Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is July 29th, 2020, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know about.
Today, we're helping you catch up on how the New York governor is handling recent social distancing violations,
a viral video that has caused the president's son's accounts to be restricted,
coronavirus outbreaks amongst the MLB,
and, as always, ending with a bit of good news for you today.
We're your hosts, Kylie Thompson
and Anna Herman. Welcome to Catch Up. Now, Kylie, I absolutely love concerts and live music, but I don't think that I would go to a big concert right now, even if it was intended to be socially distanced.
I totally agree, but unfortunately, not everyone else feels the same way we do about remaining socially distant, wearing masks, and abiding by state rules and regulations.
New York's governor said he is appalled by videos showing crowds standing close together at Hampton's concert featuring electronic music duo the Chainsmokers over the weekend. Governor Andrew Cuomo said the State Department of Health will conduct an investigation into social distancing violations. Governor Andrew Cuomo said the State Department of Health will conduct an investigation into social distancing violations. Cuomo warned in a Tuesday call with reporters that violations of public health law can result in civil fines and a potential for criminal liability. Quote, "We have no tolerance for the illegal, reckless endangerment of public health," end quote, reads the governor's Monday night tweet.
The Saturday night concert called Safe and Sound was billed as a charity drive-in show in Southampton. Cuomo questioned why local law enforcement did not break up what was, quote, out of control and all the rules were being violated, end quote. He said the state's investigation will look at the role of local leaders and reports of ongoing violations in the village of Southampton. Cuomo shared a social media video, which has over 6 million views, that showed crowds of people standing and swaying near the stage. The video shows attendees who appeared to be wearing masks, but many individuals were standing closer than 6 feet. Twitter has temporarily restricted the president's son, Donald Trump Jr.'s ability to tweet after he posted a video on Monday featuring a doctor. In the video, the doctor discusses how masks are not necessary and are not going to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Early on Tuesday, a spokesperson from Twitter commented on the account restrictions, stating that they will only last 12 hours.
The viral video was published on Monday by Breitbart News. Once the video picked up momentum and began going viral, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube all removed it. But, try as they might, even the biggest social media companies couldn't stop the video from being seen. Versions of the video were even retweeted by President Trump. When asked why the president's account had no restrictions, Twitter spokesperson stated because he did not upload the content, he only reposted, that his account would not receive the same restrictions. The Miami Marlins coronavirus outbreak could endanger the Major League Baseball season as the number of their players testing positive rose to 15. The Marlins received positive test results for 4 additional players on Tuesday. A person familiar with the situation told the Associated Press. The person declined to be identified because the results had not been publicly released. Here to talk more on this topic is official catch-up correspondent John Lauder. Thanks for joining us today, John.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, John. So with all of these outbreaks for the Marlins, what challenges could they face? Because 15 players is an insane amount.
Yeah, so guys, this whole thing just is crazy. They were in Atlanta, then they went to Philadelphia. So the Phillies had to cancel some games. They were supposed to be playing the Yankees. So this whole situation is really kind of a mess. They've actually suspended the Marlins season, just trying to give them, 10 days or 2 weeks to sort of get things back in order. But it's going to be difficult for the Marlins to continue at this point because there's just so much going on. They're going to have to bring up a ton of players. They're going to have to work really sort of, this is unprecedented in terms of how they're going to work with the MLBPA and, the MLB as a whole to get these players that they need from the minors up to the major league team just to fill the roster. So this whole situation is crazy and it doesn't look like it's going to get easier anytime soon.
So what could this look like for the future of the season, not only just for the Marlins, but for MLB as a whole?
Well, the whole issue here, of course, is competitive advantage versus competitive disadvantage. And if the Marlins are missing part of the season and they don't play 60 games, that's going to have an impact on their overall win-loss record. Now, look, the Marlins are not a very good team. They're not likely to make the playoffs anyway. But even still, that certainly puts them either at an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on how you look at number of games. Major League Baseball has got to be careful. I mean, if they get a couple more teams in this situation, they may have to shut down. And I think this is a huge wake-up call to fall college sports, and especially the NFL, which has way more players, way more staff. It seems like the bubbles are working with Major League Soccer, the NBA, and the NHL, whereas MLB went without a bubble, and it's not working for them. And the NFL's got to be careful because it looks like they don't want to do a bubble either, and it makes sense because there'd be thousands of people that would need to be in the bubble because there's 70 players per team, plus staff, coaches, etc. But they've got to be real careful if they decide not to do a bubble, because they could end up looking a lot like Major League Baseball and possibly a lot worse. There's a lot more NFL players than there are Major League Baseball players.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can get this kind of cleared up sometime in the near future, because I know this is already a shortened season. So let's just hope that everything works out. And thanks for joining us on Catch Up today, John.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Every day, Ernestine Shepard wakes up at 2:30 in the morning, goes on a 10-mile walk, and then proceeds to head to her gym. At her gym, she is an exercise class instructor and leads classes from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The kicker here, Ernestine is 80 years old.
Ernestine jumped into fitness with her sister Velvet at the ripe age of 56. She previously had never done any exercise, having been exempt from school physical education lessons as a child because of an injury she sustained in a car accident. Since getting into exercise, Ernestine has truly adopted a new lifestyle, eating 5 to 6 meals a day, drinking egg whites, and dedicating this chapter of her life to being fit and active.
Both Ernestine and her sister Velvet have competed in bodybuilding competitions, and Ernestine has even been recognized as the world's oldest female bodybuilder. All I know is tomorrow morning when my alarm goes off at 6 o'clock a.m. to hit the gym, I will think of Ernestine if I try to hit snooze. What a great example of not letting anything limit you. Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Kylie Thompson.
And I'm Anna Herman. Please be sure to catch up with us again tomorrow as we wrap up our last week of episodes. Our last episode is this Friday, July 31st.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
We appreciate you listening to Catch Up. For even more content, follow Catch Up Digital on social media. Just search for @TimeForCatchup.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheCatchup on social media.
Catch Up is an official production of Public House Media.